welcome to another episode of our little podcast called Real Talk about real estate, realtors, and real stuff and other things.
Other real things.
So today we're doing real estate rumors versus reality. So what's reality? What's rumor? And I think there's a lot of things, but we came up with these three that we're going to start off with. So you want to kick off the first one?
Yes. So the first rumors versus reality is, are prices dropping more? Because in our market, we've seen prices come down, and especially if you're in bigger cities, if you're in Bay Area, Phoenix, Las Vegas, things like that, have really seen prices come down quite a bit since spring, right, of last year. So do we think the prices, or not do we think, but the rumor is that prices are going to come down more.
Right. Continue to drop in 2023.
Yep.
So is that
True.
I think it's going to really depend on rates and inventory, how many homes we have on the market. So if the feds decide they need to continue to decrease the inflation, then we're probably going to see an increase in interest rates, and that could cause prices to go down. However, with some of the guys we're listening to, they're kind of hoping that this is good enough, and that's all based on like the job reports and all those
CPI.
all of that comes in. And right now I think things are doing better. I mean, on a podcast I listened to today, the biggest issues are tech and housing in terms of what's down. Everything else is steady or higher.
Yes, in terms of the inflation rates and
honestly, prices have already dropped, because we get that a lot. Oh, I want to wait. I don't want to buy now. I want to wait until prices have dropped more.
Yeah.
If you look at this graph here that we have on our multiple listing service, prices have already dropped.
Yep.
And how would you feel if they start to tick back up?
Yeah, with the higher interest rates.
With the higher interest
So you
rate.
have high price and higher rates.
So I think that they have dropped.
They have dropped. And a lot of buyers are, like, I've come across plenty of buyers in the last month or so saying, well, I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm waiting to see if prices come down. And that's the same thing buyers were saying when COVID started. Like, and that was obviously a little bit different situation because they had job uncertainty and there's other factors in play, but you could look throughout history. Buyers are always saying, well, I'm going to wait because this thing is happening right now and let's see what happens. So then that goes right into like the saying, don't time the market, or don't try and time the market.
Right.
Because if you're trying to time the market, the trick is, well, how do you know when the market's bottomed out? How do you, like, what physical data points and measures are you looking at to decide for yourself, this right now today is the bottom of the market?
Right. Nobody knows.
How do you know that?
I've been saying that since 2015.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this has got to be it. This has got to be it. Now it really is it. And so, I mean, in terms of the shift in the market, it's definitely happened. But it may not drop more.
It may not.
It's already dropped, a fair amount. So I think that it's somewhat of a rumor that prices are going to drop significantly in 2023.
Yes. And I think if we're talking hyperlocal Chico, there's the inventory, and we'll go over that in a second, is low. And so that comes into play, just basic supply and demand. The fact that people here have a lot of job security, and like, we're not seeing a whole lot of unemployment. And so they can afford these rates and they can afford the payments, and buyers are getting used to it. So if we have, less inventory, more buyers, then of course we are going to see prices either stay steady or possibly go up.
Yeah, yes, I'm probably getting ahead of ourselves, and I was going to say something, but let's move on to rumor or reality number 2, which is inventory is high. So we could go all the way back to right at the time of the fire, which was November 2018, the Camp Fire. We had 250 homes roughly for sale, and then we dropped
the regular.
Right, and we dropped and had 50 for sale within 10 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right now, today, our inventory is at 107. Last Q4 of 2022 was like 160, 170. So our inventory continues to drop. Yep. And Alora just Googled for us how many single family homes are in Chico, and there are 24,000. So we have basically less than 0.5% of the single family homes in Chico
available right now.
And you know what? There's probably more. That was probably just the city limits.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
Probably.
So actually, if that's the case, then the MLS does not tell us whether it's in the city limits or not. But
Right.
so
That's true.
it's a small amount, no matter what. There's out of all the homes, single family homes in Chico, there are only about 107 for sale. So
and there's hundreds and hundreds of buyers. And so what you guys will hear on the headlines say is that inventory's doubled, inventory is up, inventory continues to climb. But when you're looking at the actual data, we went from 50 homes on the market to 100 homes on the market. So, okay, it's doubled, but it's still nowhere near where we need to be. And builders are not building. In fact, a lot of builders have just stopped in the middle of projects until they can get contractors that they need. Buyers are canceling contracts on new construction homes. That's up pretty high right now. So anyways, I think that the inventory is high is a complete rumor. I don't think it's high really anywhere anywhere in the country relative to where we probably were in 2018. And that supply and demand issue is what is going to keep prices
right.
leveled.
And I don't know that we've seen anything like this in history. I've never really heard anybody talk about it where we have low demand on both ends. So we have a lot of people not wanting to sell because their interest rate is low. And why would they want to sell if they have a 3% interest rate to get a 6% interest rate? Right. So that's keeping our inventory low. So this will be interesting to see. But I agree with you. Total rumor. No way is inventory high, at least in Chico. And we actually could use some more inventory. So
absolutely.
For sure. Okay. So you want to talk about
rumor versus reality. Number 3. Homes are not getting multiple offers. Rumor or reality, Brandy?
Well, we used to get a lot of offers on every property. And if you didn't have at least five offers, something was wrong.
Yeah. You priced too high.
Right. And so that definitely has slowed down. But you just listed a property and already had, just a few days ago, and already have 4 or 5 offers on it, right?
Yep. And then there was a property that I talked to an agent about 2 weeks ago, that had 6 offers on it. And the last few houses I've sold have had at least 2 offers. So I think that tells us that buyers, like I said, are getting used to these new rates, are getting used to the new norm, and there's still people who have to buy out there. And what do you want to talk about, like what goes into what type of home is going to get multiple offers, do you think?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's going to be the difference in the price point. So the lower the price, probably the more the multiple offers, but you also have to price it right to begin with.
Yeah.
Because it was tough. We were trying to price things in that Q4 of last year based on comps that weren't really realistic because the market was changing as we were speaking. So it's, if you don't price it right, then the market will tell you you're too high. But if you're in a price point where there's a lot of first-time home buyers or second-time move-ups, what price range would you say? 300 to 500?
Yeah.
That's still getting multiple offers if they're priced correctly.
Yes. And the luxury market is probably going to be the segment of the market that sees the most stagnation. But for instance, I sold a house that was by Bidwell Park. Like, it was a very unique location, and it was a unique large house, had a pool. It showed really well. And that one ended up getting bid up $50,000 last month in December.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are still those houses that are maybe one-offs that are going to get a lot of attention. I think that one was priced really competitively. And, but like you said, this segment of the market where it's, you not only have entry-level first-time home buyers, but you have downsizers as well. Yeah. There's just more buyers for that segment of the market. So of course it's going to have more saturation in that way.
Yeah, 100%. I think it depends on the price point. It depends on what you touched on earlier too. Bigger cities are going to see a bigger hit in all of these things that we're talking about. I mean, the higher you went up in price, the harder you're going to fall.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so, places like some of the bigger cities, like or states like Idaho. I think the only prediction that I heard today of prices rising is in Florida. I think it was South Florida.
Classic.
Everywhere else is kind of just going to be. And that's because people want to move there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. In California, people want to move here too. I've said for the last couple of years, we've had like this mass exodus out of California, and then people who grew up here are going to go to the snow and hate it, and then they're going to come back.
Exactly.
Because that's what happens. And another thing, or a strategy to get multiple offers on your home. And what I'm seeing is if the home presents really well is a big deal. So
huge. It's everything.
It's always been that way, but especially right now in this shifted market, you want to have fresh paint, you want to have staging, you want a realtor who hires a professional photographer, professional video, all that.
Right.
Like you have to go the whole 9 yards.
100%. And we've always done it that way, no matter what the market, but now you really have to.
You have to.
If the agent that's going to be selling your house is not doing those things, they really need to in order to get it sold. Yeah. And not only that, like even when the market was crazy and anything was selling, we still did it and we still made it look really good because we want them to get the highest and best price. Yeah. So the better it looks, then the highest price and the faster it will sell. So
absolutely. Cool.
All right. Any other gossip or rumors or realities that we can think of? I'm sure there's a ton more. But
there's so many. There is a gossip rumor that 30% of agents in the National Association of Realtors are going to be getting out of real estate.
Bye-bye.
So we'll see if that ends up happening. We have the most realtors in America that we've ever had right now. So we'll see what happens in Q2 after all the dues were due at the beginning of the year. See how many people didn't renew.
And we just hired 2 new.
We did
this week.
So they'll be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See or listen to you on the next one.
Bye. Peace out.